Hey y'all, it's your girl, the real deal, Anita Gill. Like, share, and subscribe. I am going to react to one of my online criminal lawyer, Bruce Rivers. Um, I kind of followed Rivers in a lot of his cases. Now, I am going to react to snitching behind him on Gunna with Gunna, okay? All right, let's go.
To Sergio Kitchens. Sergio Kitchens, as you know, was a high-ranking YSL member, and he pled guilty yesterday in open court, and then he was released from jail. So let's talk about what a plea is first. A plea is when you all of a sudden say, "Hey, look, I'm guilty." There's two parts to a plea. There's a waiver of your rights because you have a right to a trial, and there's a whole bunch of rights. You have a right to testify, cross-examine witnesses, blah blah blah. So you have to waive all those rights first. Then there's what's called a factual basis. And that's what we're going to show you here. Factual basis, that's where you have to admit that you committed a crime. You cannot enter a plea and not admit that you did something wrong. So let's see what the judge has to say.
Okay, listen to what he said. You cannot admit to a plea unless you did something wrong. So what Kitchen is saying, he did something wrong. Okay? He pleaded something, so he did something wrong.
And the prosecutor in this case. Please state after each statement whether or not you agree or acknowledge that statements are true. Okay? Yes, ma'am. So this is the factual basis. So basically, you got to admit to what you're doing or what you did.
Okay, so he just admitted to what he did.
Yeah, that makes you guilty. Affiliated with YSL around 2016. Is that true as it pertains to you, Mr. Kitchens? Yes, ma'am. I became affiliated, so he all of a sudden acknowledges YSL as a gang. YSL.
Now, what he did right then, Gunna did then, he acknowledged that YSL is a gang. He acknowledged that. Okay. Wow, he did that? Jesus. Okay.
Is a music label and a gang, and you have personal knowledge that members or associates of YSL have committed crimes in furtherance of the gang. Yes, ma'am. So he admitted not only that YSL is a music label, but it's also a gang, and that he and others committed crimes in furtherance of YSL.
Hold up now. I ain't know he did all that now. He acknowledged it. Well, he acknowledged that they're a gang. But he did not acknowledge that him and Thug was in a gang. He acknowledged that YSL is a gang. But they are the court is the one, the prosecutor is the one accusing the leader of the gang. Oh, I'm worrying about everybody else going against Thug.
You were present when law enforcement officers stopped the vehicle in which you were present along with Jeffrey Williams, wherein hydrocodone, methamphetamines, and a firearm were recovered. These items did not belong to you. Yes, ma'am. So, you were with Young Thug when you had some drugs and guns in the car. Oh, and by the way, none of that shit was yours, right? Okay.
Now, now they don't have to claim. Now, I think I see where he going with Ghana going with it. So Ghana, if it's just him and Thug in the car, he's saying it's not his. And Ghana can say it's not his. All depends on who was in there. Say Young Thug can say it wasn't his stuff either. He could say it wasn't his either. So if it's not theirs, then who it belongs to?
Oh, who says it? Oh, I guess it must have been the other guy. Fucking A. I recognize, accept, and deeply regret that my talent and music indirectly furthered YSL the gang to the detriment of my community. YSL as a gang must end. Is that your statement?
Yes.
YSL's The Gang Must End. I deeply regret. First of all, that you don't need that for a plea. She wanted that for some reason. That's the prosecutor that's standing up talking right now. There's been a lot of talk in the Twitter sphere and the atmosphere and the cybersphere about whether or not Gunna is snitching. Well, they got a trial coming up, and now he just admitted in open court all these different things. Now, Gunna's lawyer, if you look on here, it says Gunna did not snitch to get out of jail. He has said nothing and is not cooperating. He just admitted in open court. His plea statement cannot be used in court against any other defendant.
So he said that it said on this part where it said Gunna did not snitch to get out of jail. He said that he just did it. So in other words, Bruce is kind of saying he snitched, but he's not saying he's snitching. You know what I mean? He's saying he snitched, but he's not saying he snitched.
Not true. So please stop spreading lies. Let's just break this down because people want to know if he's a snitch or not. I can honestly tell you that I don't know if he's snitching or not. His lawyer says he's not cooperating, but that's what he's going to say. You wouldn't have any documents.
Wait a minute. Hold on. What you say, Bruce? Let me rewind it.
No. His lawyer says he's not cooperating, but that's what he's going to say. You wouldn't have any document to show that he's cooperating. But can his statement be used against somebody else in their trial? Well, let's analyze that. Unless there's a specific agreement to not have that be used in another person's trial, it can be. Why can't it be? Because it's an admission against penal interest. That is not hearsay. Otherwise, it would be a hearsay statement. But when you make a statement under oath and you inculpate yourself, that means you point the finger at yourself so you did something wrong. That's a statement against interest. That is not hearsay.
Okay. What he's saying is that Gunna pointed something to him. He said that he did something in this. Okay? He did whatever he did in this case.
And that absolutely can be used in a trial against Young Thug. Now, these are...
And it can go against Young Thug. So, in other words, Gunna is saying what he didn't do. But y'all would have did the same thing if y'all was locked up behind the jail. Y'all did the same thing.
Extremely serious charge. Kitchens was released from jail on Wednesday, that's yesterday, and his lawyer said he's been held without bail in advance of trial, which is supposed to start in January. This guilty plea was an important development in one of the two sprawling Atlanta criminal cases targeting what prosecutors say are a pair of feuding gangs that have committed dozens of shootings and other violent crimes since 2015. Further says that Kitchens entered an Alford plea, which allows defendants to maintain their innocence while pleading guilty. So here's the plea agreement. I agreed to perform 500 hours of community service, a substantial portion of which will require that I speak to young men and women about the hazards and the immorality of gangs and gang violence and the decay that it causes in our community. I agree that the community service locations shall be determined by the Iowa blah, blah, blah. I will possess no guns during the term of this sentence or any time. And he got 5 years commuted down to 1 for time served. So he's out.
He got 5 years accumulated down to 1. But y'all got what people need to look at this also is that him and Gunna and Thug talked about this, y'all. And y'all got to realize they're going to give Thug time anyway. Watch when everybody else come in that court blaming him. He's gonna get time, but you need somebody out your music group to take care of your business for you, because you don't trust Thug. Don't trust who he got in charge of that money. So the way I see it is, if I have more charges than Gunna, we in this music thing together. If I have more charges than Gunna, then if I have more charges, now if Thug has more charges than Gunna is the easy way to be handling his business for him. Thug ain't gonna be in there like he gonna do time, but he gonna do time, sir, and other time. He might not get out just like Gunna did, but at least you got somebody out there to handle your business. You know what I mean? It's going to be a fight. It's gonna be a fight, but trust me, y'all. They talk. Trust me.
Oh, and doesn't have to do any more time. Then you have the acknowledgments that we just saw. And if he violates the plea agreement, the district attorney can and will use the statement during any judicial proceedings. A violation of this plea agreement shall result in full revocation of his suspended sentence. So he's got, I think, 5 years hanging over his head. So people are talking about whether he's a snitch or not. Whether he's a snitch or not, we won't know until Thug's trial. Actually, we might know just a little bit before that, because my guess is that if he did snitch, the state would have to disclose that and disclose the witness's statement shortly before trial. But it isn't going to be much.
You heard what he said. Before court, before the trial, they're gonna have to disclose a lot of stuff. It's gonna be a lot of things that the court have to disclose. Gonna have to disclose means shut it down.
Much before trial, because he would have a target on his back, no question in my mind, if he decides to snitch. But here's the other thing: whether Gunna's a snitch or not, fuck that. Who cares? Because there's 20 other people, 27 other people who are charged in this indictment, right?
See, that's what I just said. You got 20-something other people is indicted in this. These folks ain't gonna. Them boys sitting at that table with Thug, they did not smile at Thug. They did not look at Thug. They don't like Thug right now. They want to come out of that jail. Them the one gonna snitch. Then I want to hear what y'all say about them.
And so I guarantee you, they've got snitches that are going to be coming out of the woodwork. Whether Gunna is snitching or not is sort of immaterial, because I guarantee you they have more than one snitch. Your case will not just be based upon Gunna's word and Gunna's word alone. They're going to have corroboration through cell phone, through text messages, through evidence seized in searches, and snitch testimony. Now, his trial is supposed to start on January 5th. So the timing of the new charges and the timing of the plea for Gunna is kind of, you can kind of read into it where they're going with this. So if you remember, NBA Youngboy came up with a plan to get out of jail and an elaborate security plan and curfew and all that kind of stuff. In June, Young Thug did the same thing, but the judge denied his bond and an elaborate house arrest plan. Several factors were taken into consideration, including a threat introduced to the court attributed to Williams from 2015 that states, anybody goes into courtroom and tells the God's honest truth, they'll be fucking killed. That's probably a pretty good reason to keep him in custody, don't you think?
I heard that. Let me take this back. Let me take this back to right here.
To Williams from 2015 that states, anybody goes into
court attributed to Williams from 2015 that states, anybody goes into courtroom and tells the God's honest truth, they'll be effing. Wow. See, this is streets. This is the street. This is what happened.
Courtroom and tells the God's honest truth, they'll be fucking killed. That's probably a pretty good reason to keep him in custody, don't you think? When you have a situation, this is high profile as it gets in this kind of gang world, and it is, if you look at getting out with a slap on the wrist, essentially, I don't know how he's not snitching. Now, I don't want to start.
Now, in other words, Bruce saying he snitched, but he's saying he can't say he not snitching. He's saying he saying that he can't say he's saying he snitched in a way of saying he not snitching just to cover himself. That's what Rivers just did. Okay.
Start spreading rumors and have all my fans say Gunna's a snitch, because I don't know that he's a snitch.
Now he's saying he don't know that he snitched, but y'all just heard what he said. Let me take it back a little bit so you can hear it again. Bruce said that he I can't see why he not snitching. Then he gonna turn around and say something different. You know, people Bruce is covering himself. 1 minute Bruce saying he snitched, then he's saying I can't say he snitched. But listen.
The courtroom and tells the God's honest truth, they'll be fucking killed. That's probably a pretty good reason to keep him in custody, don't you think? When you have a situation, this is high profile as it gets in this kind of gang world, and it is if you look at getting out with a slap on the wrist, essentially, I don't know how he's not snitching.
He said, I don't know how he's not snitching. That's what he just said. Bruce just said. I don't know how he not snitching. In other words, is saying he snitched. But watch how he cleared up. He gonna say, but I can't say he's snitching. So what are you saying then? You just said you don't know how he snitched. That he didn't snitch. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I don't want to put words in his mouth. Let me go back a little bit.
Kind of gang world. And it is, if you look at getting out with a slap on the wrist, essentially, I don't know how he's not snitching.
I don't know how he not snitching if he got a slap on the wrist. I don't know how it's not snitching. And then he gonna turn around and say,
now I don't want to start spreading rumors and have all my fans say
you already spread rumors.
Gunna's a snitch, because I don't know that he's a snitch.
Now he just said he don't know if he snitched. Bruce Rivers, I'm smart. You said he snitched. You said you don't see. In other words, you slick because you know you're a lawyer. You said some slick stuff. You said I don't see how not snitching. I don't see how it's not snitching. It's my word said he snitched.
So it smells like snitch though.
But it smells like snitch. So just say he snitched. If he snitched, he snitched. How's something gonna smell like he snitched? And you don't see how he's gonna be snitching, and you turn around and say it's not snitching.
We'll find out within the next few weeks whether he's snitching or not.
In other words, when he go to court, we'll see if he gonna snitch on Thug.
Lawyer was right in one aspect. Generally can't admit a statement of a co-defendant against another without the co-defendant being present. And we'll have to see whether the Fulton County goes with the exception that I talked about. If they don't, if it's just Thug and Gunna in the car, who's going to testify about what? And now there's an admission on the record that it wasn't Gunna's. So the implication is that it's Young Thug's.
Now that makes sense what he said right there. To be honest with y'all, if I'm in the car with all that drugs and stuff in the car, if I just plead and said it wasn't mine, he still didn't say it was Thug's. Thug can go to court and say the same thing. It's not mine. But if they go back and look at 2015 and he admit that it's his, he done messed up. Gunna messed up. Just common sense. Just to be honest with y'all, if he I was one of the ones saying that he didn't snitch. I don't want to call it snitch. I just wanted to say I didn't have the drugs. So if Young Thug and it's just me and Young Thug in the car, then Young Thug, if he back in 2015, Gunna got to remember what he said in 2015. Thug got to remember what he said in 2015. But y'all don't know what Thug and Gunna talked about when they was in there. Y'all don't know. This can be a reason behind this. But they got to prove, if they in 2015 that they proved at that moment that they had drugs and that, then they on somebody in trouble. Well, y'all tell me what y'all think. I just broke it down. In other words, do I think that Gunna snitched? No, I don't. I think that he did what he had to do to get out of there for himself. But it's not like he told on Thug. So what would y'all do in that case? Would if it's you and Gunna has a business, y'all don't trust this other person around y'all money because they can be stealing from you. Okay, so what you want him to do? What would y'all want Gunna to do? Y'all got to realize that Thug knows this. Y'all the one tripping off this. Thug is not tripping out what Gunna doing. So thinking about it, y'all can sit here and say snitch, 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 snitch. But the thing is, Thug know exactly what Gunna is doing. This is your girl, the real deal, Anita Gill. Like, share, and subscribe. I am out.